Hello and welcome to another episode of the Accounting Insiders Podcast. My name is Gary DeHart. I'm the host of the Accounting Insiders Podcast, as well as the publisher of Insightful Accountant. And it is May the 16th, 2025. I always like to put a date in there. So if somebody's listening to this a year from now and we say something that's no longer valid then, well, that's why, because it's a year old if you're listening to it a year from now. But again, May the 16th, 2025. My guest today is Arnaud Gabaudan, co-founder of Erplain, which is ERP Lane. So, and we'll dive into that as to kind of the background on that. But it's basically B2B sales and inventory simplified is how it's kind of listed down on the website. But welcome, Arnaud. Thanks for taking some time here to have a discussion, and we're going to get into also a product demo as well towards the end of this discussion. So thanks for taking some time.
Thanks, Gary, and happy to be chatting with you today.
Yeah, great. And so what we just kind of setting the table here. What we'll do is just a quick intro, get you to say, you're you, and here's your background. Here's how you got to where you are. A little bit on how Airplane, you know, came into being, and then what it does, kind of, why it came to being, what problems are you solving, and our primary audience is accounting professionals. Certainly, we have some others who are end users, but I always like to try to tailor the conversation more to that accounting pro who's working with small business clients. So kind of I always like to get to what's in it for them or what's in it for their customers or both. Um, and then we'll take a look at the product itself, which, I always like up front. I am not an inventory specialist by any means. So you could show me all kinds of stuff and I'd be like, oh, that's great. Not my world. So, but our audience, certainly this will resonate with them. But again, thank you for taking some time. So just background, what got you to where you are? I think you told me in the green room, it's been about 10 years since you launched Airplane. So what were you doing prior to that?
Yeah. So I've always been fascinated by entrepreneurs and startups. And I started my career after my studies. I was actually working in venture capital, investing in tech startups.
Okay.
And I've really developed an even more keen interest on understanding the problem that their products were solving for their customers. I thought it was really, really interesting. After working in the VC industry, I thought I would really complement my skills by working for a big corporation. I went to work for Microsoft for a little over 10 years here in Canada, and I loved every part of it. But that entrepreneur interest always stuck to me. And after working with my brother, because I co-founded the company with my brother. Um,
Okay.
he was working for a very small business that had some issues around inventory and order management, and we realized that many small business had the same issue. Their needs were not really met in terms of the offering in the market. Again, that was about 10 years ago. It's a little bit better now for sure. But all the solutions they could find were super expensive. They had like $10,000 of maintenance cost, and we thought there would be a better way to do that, and that's when we started the company. We so my brother is more of a developer background. We complemented the team with other developers, and we created that product called Airplane. We like the play on word because it starts with ERP.
Yep.
Technically, in ERP, it's either very scary for those who know what it is, or for small business, a lot of small business don't know what a ERP is. So it's enterprise resource planning. It's typically for very large corporations. And so that's why we like the play on word, and we're created the product to help small business manage their sales, manage their purchases, and with the inventory built in.
Okay. And did that roll out from like when you started the product? Did you stick with one of those, or we're going to work on inventory first and then sales, or does it have to kind of all, did it all have to kind of pull together from the start?
From the start, it worked together. We didn't really start with inventory management and added some sales features. For example, the ability to have a complete sales workflow, and I'm sure we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But having like an estimate, sales order, shipping order, invoicing, having your inventory being updated at every stage of the process, it's fully integrated. It doesn't make a lot of sense not to build it at the same time and to answer
Okay.
those needs for our customers.
Okay. So you had in the green room, you had also mentioned Stockpit, right? And uh, touch on that while we're here, and then
Mhm.
we'll kind of pull those two apart.
Sure, sure.
So what is it? What is Stockpit?
So Stockbit does only inventory management. It could be considered like an add-on to QuickBooks to add advanced inventory management features.
Okay.
So it doesn't do any sales features. You can do your sales, you can do your purchases directly in QuickBooks. We're going to analyze that information so that we can update your inventory and add advanced features like multiple stock location, like the ability to reserve your inventory because when you sell your products, they don't magically disappear from your inventory.
Yeah.
It can take a few hours or a few days in between the sale and the inventory update. So we're able to do that with Stockbit. We add features like assemblies, like traceability with batch numbers and expiry dates. You can even scan barcodes. So if you need to create shipping orders or select your product with barcodes. So again, Stockbit, it's not a standalone application. It will complement QuickBooks to add some advanced inventory management features. The popular one is obviously the multiple stock locations, and we even have a dedicated subscription plan just for multiple stock locations. But that's probably too detailed.
Okay. I'm sure somebody on here was like, "Oh yeah, I have that problem. Let me help solve that." So I'm going to wind back just a little bit. So you started with your brother. Is does one of you have an IT background?
Yes, my brother does. Yes. Mhm.
Okay, all right. And so I'm just imagining like Skunk Works, right, with where you've got people just churning things, going, "Oh, hey, here's a problem. Let's solve the problem." Um, and so have you learned more on that IT development side yourself, or have y'all just really kept it siloed and said, "Hey, he does this, I do that."
So full disclaimer, I studied I have a bachelor of computer science as well. So
Okay.
it's not completely new to me.
Yeah.
It's not the path that I chose for my career. I studied business after, and so we I stayed like that. So I continue on the business side, and my brother continues on the product and development side.
Okay. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but I'm not an IT guy. Um, the last 10 years been a lot of change, right?
Mhm.
And in what's available for developers to develop new product. How do small, and I don't, I'm using air quotes on small, but how do small developers, how do you keep up with those changes and still stay, cutting edge, right? Because it just seems like there's constantly a new technology that's saying, hey, you should do this instead of that.
Well, thankfully the business grew since in the last 10 years. So now we
Yeah,
have a whole team of developers. Some are fresh out of studies, some are more
yeah,
experienced developers,
yeah,
and of course it's part of the role to keep up to date with the new technology. To new technologies we integrate into the product on a regular basis. And I was going to mention that probably later, but actually we have a new version coming out in the next few months, and that new version is actually the perfect example on how we keep up with new technologies because it's very modern, and it will really allow us to develop new features on an even more regular basis, and
okay,
that's the big upgrade of that new version.
okay. And you said that's a few months.
Yeah, so we're hoping in the fall 2025.
Okay,
So yeah, with the summer dedicated to a whole bunch of testing, we're already quite advanced in the development of the new version, but obviously a lot of testing has to be done before we release it. So objective is in the fall.
okay, great. And so primary challenges that you're solving when you saw the problem Hey, this stuff's
Mhm.
kind of disjointed for small businesses. Um, what would you say the top two or three challenges are that you're solving?
So I would say probably the first one that I mentioned earlier is having the ability to have your inventory management built into your sales workflow.
Okay.
So you create an estimate, you create a sales order, you create a shipping order, you create an invoice. At every different stages, you need to have different information in terms of inventory. So we have a lot of customers that actually were using spreadsheets to manage their inventory. They were using Word documents to create their invoices. We also had a lot of customers that were using QuickBooks. And that's how we came to develop that integration with QuickBooks Online. And we realized that having that a little more advanced sales workflow, that inventory management that has some advanced features like and I can show you in the demo in a few minutes, but having the
Hmm.
ability to reserve your inventory and being able to create shipping order, it's actually really adding a lot of value to everyday business customers. We work a lot with B2B type of customers, so they say their businesses are to sell with to other businesses, and when you sell to another business, it's not an invoice and a payment at the same time, right? It's not going into a retail store and I buy that product, I get the product, and I pay. It's a little
Right.
more advanced, right? So often it starts with an estimate. So this is my proposal for you. Then when the sale is being confirmed, I can create a sales order. That sales order will then reserve your inventory. It will not update your on-hand inventory. So we have the different inventory levels that you can track. And then you do your shipping orders, and then you do your invoicing and do your payments. And all that could take days or weeks to complete. It's not a one-time event like when you're selling to the end consumer, for example. So our sales process is perfectly suited for a B2B type of business, and that's what we specialize. So a lot of our customers are wholesale, distribution, import, export. So that's probably the core of our customers. I would say 80% of our customers are from 10 to, or from, I should say, even from 1 to 20 employees. So
Okay.
we work with small businesses. And so that's pretty much our specialty.
Okay, that's great. Well, you kind of answered my question before I asked it. And so it was, which was basically somebody's listening to this, how do they look at their book of business and decide this is a good product for this customer, but not necessarily a good product for that customer? So size, kind of that 1 to 20 employee. Is it also based on a volume of like inventory turnover? Does that matter?
That doesn't really matter, actually. We have customers that have like 100,000 products on our software, but they don't necessarily sell more than somebody that has 5 products. So yeah, it doesn't really matter in terms of the turnover. It definitely has an impact in terms of, some of the process that you need, some of the other integrations that you might need. But typically, this is where the company size will play a role more than the revenues. Yeah.
Okay. And then, and this is coming out of left field because this is something I thought about as you were talking, and that's I think a lot of times there's apprehension, right, of taking on new product, new software. Oh gosh, the last thing I need is another piece of software they have to learn and deal with, right? What does that onboarding process look like for customers? So let's say, all right, I'm brand new, I'm a QBO user, I've, I'm a 5 employee company.
Mhm.
And I'm sure it's going to be different for everybody, but generally speaking, I mean, what does that process look like?
So you're completely right. It's different for everybody. But I have that question a lot, or the team has that question a lot. And so what we do is we simply look at all our customers and the time that it takes them to onboard the new software. When you become a customer with Erplain or with Stockpit, by the way, those two products are completely independent. It's either or, not both. But when you onboard on our software, we offer free training and setup. So it's an hour of free training and setup with a product specialist. We can offer more if you need to. And I look at the stats, less than 30% of our customers actually need that hour of training.
Oh,
The
wow.
14-day trial that we have, the tutorials, the help, when of course we're here. We have a whole team of product specialists. You can send us some questions by email. We'll answer in a very quickly manner. And that's pretty much what most of our customers need. They don't need even more than that. Some of our customers do need that training and that setup. They just want the reassurance that we're checking their settings, and that's perfectly fine. We're here to help. But our software, and you can look at our reviews, you can do a little bit of research. We're known for how easy it is to use. The user interface is easy to use. The workflows in the software also very easy to manage. So that really helps us a lot. The integration with QuickBooks is also very easy. Once you connect both software to QuickBooks, in one click, you import your customers, one click, you import your suppliers, one click, you import your products, and then they sync both ways. So in 3 clicks almost, you can be already set up and start using Airplane with QuickBooks.
Okay. So ease of use, we'll stick with that. And so one of the other questions I had was for, again, our core audience is, accounting professionals who are working with small to mid-sized businesses. Um, so somebody listens to this, they're like, gosh, I do have, this client I think would be perfect. What's their process? The accounting pro who is working with that small business, always like, what's in it for them, if anything? Are there, support for them, or is there commission opportunities for them? Some want it, some don't.
Mhm.
What does that process look like? If I'm an accounting pro, I've got a perfect client, who do I call and and where do we go from there?
Yeah, so they can definitely contact us, and I think we'll put some links in later on. But you
Yeah.
just check the websites, and we can definitely get back to you. But once they contact us, we can do either one or two things. We can do a training, we can do a demo for the accounting professional directly without their customers. We also have a lot of accounting professionals that come to us because they're looking for a solution. And the first meeting is actually with them and their customer. And we do the
Okay.
discovery call, we do a demo, depending on the case. So whatever makes more sense for them. So if they want to start with us, just between the accounting pros and us, so we can tell them a little bit how we can help them and how we can help their customers do a demo, that's perfectly fine. And that's usually useful because sometimes they invite their customers right away, but it hasn't been really well qualified. So they're not sure if, okay, will Airplane really help my customer? So it
Yeah.
might end up not being a great meeting if after 5 minutes, oh, but I need this. Oh, but sorry, we're not able to help you there. So a little bit of a discovery and a little bit of a call before onboarding or before talking to the customer can be useful in some cases. We do have a partner program, and we like to make things very simple. Any partner can reach. We also have a partner page on the website. They can ask us to be a partner, and we'll put. They can open an Airplane account or Stockpit account. We'll put their account into a partner mode. Partner mode means that they don't have to pay, so it's a free account that they can use for demos and testing, so that they can be more familiar with the product and they can show to their customers if they want to. In some cases, they can even use that account so that they can pay on behalf of their customers. We offer partner discounts. So if you're an accounting pro and if you have a partner account, we'll give you a partner discount, and then you can resell Airplane or Stockbit at the price that you want. You can include it in your services. So if they want to do some margin, good on them. If they want to include it in the services and just pay on their behalf, that's fine too.
Okay. Oh, great. So, and I just pulled that up while you were talking. So it's on the site, um, under resources, right?
Yes,
So I think
and
that's
I
how you
think
get to it.
I think the plan is to revamp that page a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. And we'll drop links too, as well as in the just in the show notes too. So so we talked about referral program, partner program, and really, I mean, are you seeing the accounting professionals again who are working with small businesses? I know, like, we started Insightful Accountant was called Intuitive Accountant when we started it, but in 2013. And so a lot of the pro advisor space was pretty heavily involved in desktop and consulting with desktop and earned money in these implementations with desktop. Obviously that's gone away. Um, are you seeing accounting pros kind of latch on and say, hey, here's a great consulting opportunity for me, not just with my current firm, current clients, but also I can expand my whole what I do for a living if I'm more of a tech minded accountant.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned QuickBooks Desktop because we help a lot of customers migrate from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online.
Okay.
And I'm sure the accounting pros that listen to that podcast will know that when you move from desktop to QuickBooks Online, you're going to lose some features. Some of the features that you're going to lose are the ability to track inventory in multiple stock locations, the ability to create sales orders, the ability to create assemblies, the ability to have multiple price levels. So you've got all bunch of features that are very useful for a lot of customers, especially again in the B2B world, and they're not going to find those features in QuickBooks Online, and they will need to complement QuickBooks Online with apps like Airplane or with QuickBooks. So I think, and yes, there's definitely a service opportunity for them. I think even QuickBooks offers a lot of resources for desktop migration because that's important to
Mhm.
them as well. So yes, I think definitely service opportunity, and in order to to help their customers even better and not have them on QuickBooks Online and miss some of the features that they used to have,
Yeah.
this is definitely where they can help, and we want to help.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Well, let's unless we missed something else, you want to take a look at the product and kind of show us what it's all about? And
Sure,
again,
sure.
full disclosure, you're going to show me, I'm going to be like, well, that looks great. Um, but again, our core audience are people who would understand the nuances of what you're showing.
Sure, sure. All right. So let me start sharing my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes. Yep. Sure can.
All right, perfect. So this is the dashboard that you can set up and show different metrics. You can reorganize it the way you want, add different widgets to it so you can track your business very quickly. We only have like just a few minutes, so I'll go very quickly to some of the features I really like to talk about, especially when you talk to somebody using QuickBooks Online. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the ability to create a sales order. So, and that's a little more in between, typically in the sales workflow, in between the estimate and the invoice. And a lot of customers are looking for the ability to create a sales order so that they can actually confirm the order, they can reserve the inventory prior to creating the invoice. So to create a sales order, it's very simple. So here, this is the dashboard. You see the progress, the detailed progress of every sales order that you're creating. And to create a sales order, it's very simple. You start by selecting the customer. When you select the customer, the billing address, shipping address populates automatically. You can have multiple shipping, multiple billing addresses if you need. You can define a stock location. You can assign the location to the customer, so you don't have to select it every time. You can assign account reps as well. So if you have a sales team, you can assign them to that customer. You can track their sales, and you can even give them a dedicated access so they can come and place their orders. You have multiple price levels, super important. The ability to have multiple categories of pricing. So you can have wholesale price, retail price, tier one, tier two. You can create your own custom price levels, and automatically the corresponding price will show up automatically. So if I click on add multiple products, again, I'm going fairly quickly just so you get an idea. I click on a couple products. And by the way, we're managing product with variants. So if you have one product that comes in multiple colors or sizes, you can manage one product in those different variants. That's also very popular. And you can have some notes, terms and conditions. You can attach some files. So as you can see, it's pretty straightforward to create a sales order. When you create a sales order, this is when your inventory is reserved. So if I open now my stock level, so if I go to stock level, there we go. You're going to see the list of all your products. And for each product, you're going to have on hand, available, and reserved. On hand is physically what you have in your stock location. Available is what you have available for sale. So we simply remove everything that you have sold but not shipped to the customer to give from the on hand to give you the available. And everything that was shipped but not sold, that sold but not shipped, I apologize. This is what we call reserved. You can click on the reserved quantity to see which sales order reserved that product. And the incoming inventory is everything that you bought from your suppliers but have not received yet. And again, here you can click on the incoming inventory and you'll see all the purchase orders that include that product. So on hand, available, reserved, not just one number in order to track your inventory is super useful. And then, as I mentioned, multiple stock locations. So for any product, you can click on an arrow on the side and you will find the inventory, the different numbers that I just described. You'll find them by each location as well. So
Okay.
that's the ability to create a sales order. Then from the sales order, you can do one or more shipping orders. You can invoice the sales order or the shipping order. You can do the payments. And we're going to sync the invoice and the payment with QuickBooks, so you don't have to duplicate anything. It will be fully integrated with QuickBooks as well. The other thing I quickly want to show you, so here I created an order from scratch, but we also have what we call a B2B store. The B2B store is a way to invite your customers to your own e-commerce website. Again, it's specialized in
Hmm.
B2B. It looks like an e-commerce store, but depending on which customer you invite, they can see different products. So you can customize the product selection based on the customer. You can customize the pricing, just like I
Hmm.
explained with the price level. And then finally, when they place the order with a B2B store, it's creating a sales order pending validation. From that sales order, you can do your shipping orders, you can do your invoicing, you can do your payments. So B2B sales workflow, again, that's the B2B store, the very popular add-on to our software. Um, and that's just what it looks like, but you can customize it. And the new version coming out will add a whole bunch of customization options to the product. Something that I'm not going to show, but you can, or how to create it, but you can also track batch numbers, expiry dates. So if you're in industry like the food industry, drinks industry, when you want to track batch numbers from your suppliers to find out who you sold it to, if you have any recalls or warranty issues, you can track expiry dates with that. So that's also fully supported in both products, Erplain and Stockpit. So in short, try to keep it short, but I hope that gives you a good overview of what we offer.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. And then I think it's obvious, but I want to say it anyway. So on that first screen, when you first opened up, um, it was showing, yeah, across the top there, like Canadian dollars, right? Um,
Yes. Mhm.
Currency doesn't matter to you, right?
No, no, you can have any currency you need. So that's right. That demo account happens to be in Canadian dollars, but you can open an account in your primary currency, any one that of your choosing, and then you can add multiple currencies. If you buy from a country, resell in another country, it's completely multi-currency. Yes.
Okay, yeah, thought so, but I figure it's worth pointing out.
Yeah. No,
And
thank you
now,
for.
sure. Now, what about for Stockpit? Um, is that something we want to show as well, or is it going to look very similar?
It's going to look very similar. So here I'm just logging into my Stockpit account. As you can see, the user interface is a little revamped, but you will see a lot of the similar information. So if you go into the inventory menu and you look at your stock levels, you're going to see something very similar of what I just showed you in terms of on hand, available, reserved. You can also track directly from here the QuickBooks inventory, and you can track your inventory across multiple locations as well. So you can create an invoice in QuickBooks. If you're familiar with it, you can have like a label called the location. So it's just a label because it will help QuickBooks build some reports of where that invoice was created, but it doesn't allow you to track the inventory in that location. It's just a label that you add to the invoice. But we're going to be able to use that label and sync the inventory into the proper location directly in Stockpit. So again, with Stockpit, you do your invoicing, you do your estimates, you can even do your POs directly in QuickBooks, and we'll be just adding inventory management features. With the Erplain, it's a little more complete on the sales side, like I showed you with the B2B store, the price levels. So you've got different features. Again, if you're perfectly satisfied with QuickBooks in terms of selling and purchasing, just need inventory management. QuickBooks is a great product. It's even a quicker ramp up as Erplain. If your customers need a little more advanced in terms of like sales workflow, pricing options, and the B2B store, for example, then Erplain definitely has or would definitely be a good fit in that case.
Okay, great. Then just as we kind of push to the finish line here, we talked about what's in the pipeline, um, and that was uh, it's not really a refresh. What do you call it on the IT side? So, for the fall.
Yeah, so in terms of our roadmap,
Yeah.
we have a lot coming up. The biggest milestone for us will be the new version that I just mentioned. So
Mhm.
Airplane is going to release a new version by the end of 2025. The objective is the fall, but at this point, because not all testing has been done, we're
Yeah.
careful on mentioning timelines. The objective is the fall. Um, will be changing some of the underlying technology that we're using with Airplane. And it's actually the same technology that you see here with Stockbit. It's transparent to the customer, but really the biggest benefit is it will allow us to release newer versions on a lot more frequent basis. That's how we've been developing Airplane. We incorporate as much as we can our customer feedback, and we're pretty active on that. But the new version will be able to do that even quicker. But of course, on day one, we'll already have a lot of new features like more advanced user permissions, the customization of the B2B store, a more advanced sales workflow. So we'll have a whole bunch of new things already coming in the new version, and then even a faster release timeframe after that.
Okay. Exciting stuff. It's good to have new things in the pipeline. So let's wrap up with, and you've already said it, but I want to finish with um, who is the ideal user? Again, so if an accounting pro is sitting here, has gone through this, watched what you did here, and they're going, all right, I know I have multiple clients, but help me identify who my ideal clients are for your solution, and then we'll
Mhm.
give contact info, and then we'll wrap it up.
Sounds good. So, if your customers are distributors or dealing with import, export, wholesale, then that would be already a really good fit. We typically work with small businesses. So our definition of small business is from 1 to 20. That newer version will include more advanced features as well, where we can even talk to even bigger customers. But right now, Airplane and our specialty is really to work with 1 to 20. And then if you hear your customers mention the need to track inventory across multiple stock locations, have multiple price levels, have the ability to enable traceability for certain industries like food or drinks industry, medical industry in some cases, more advanced inventory features, that's definitely worth looking at Airplane or Stockbit. And then yeah, from our website, you can book a discovery call. It can be as short as 10 minutes, and we can ask you some questions. We have a great team. They'll understand the needs of your customers and say, okay, yeah, Airplane is it's a great fit, or it's not. We're not shy about telling you if it's not a great fit. Every business works differently,
Yeah.
and maybe Airplane will be a great fit for some of your customers, and it won't be for other customers. For example, just from the get-go, if your customers have big manufacturing needs, probably not a great fit for Airplane and Stockbit. We have light assembly light assembly features, so that fits the needs for some of our manufacturing customers. But as soon as it's more advanced, you probably will need a more specialized software.
Okay. Define light assembly. What would that look like?
Yeah, so assembly is the ability to create a new product that's made of components. So you say that new product, the finished product, is made of two of this component, 2.5 of this one. It's almost like creating a recipe of your
Yeah.
components. But then you still track the inventory of your components and the inventory of the assembly separately. They are different products. And then we have what we call a feature that's called transform assembly, where you're going to allocate the inventory from the components to the assembly. So you're going to say, I want to create 5 assemblies, and based on the recipe, based on the components that you've selected, you will have automatically creating 5 assemblies and removing the appropriate number of components. But again, both products, the components and the assembly, are still separate products. For those
Yeah.
that use the bundles in QuickBooks, that's very different. So bundles, we have that feature as well in Airplane. We call it Kit. So we have that as well, but QuickBooks at this moment does not have the assembly feature. So this is something we can help.
Okay. Great. And then we'll wrap up with the contact info. So it's Airplane, which is ERPLAIN.com. And then once you land on that site, a couple of places to go. It's like you said, is it up in the right hand? I'm looking at it here. So up in the right hand corner, start a free trial. Contact, was that just under Help Center? Or did
So
we?
yes, so if you want to reach our product specialist, then there is a contact us. There's a contact us option on the website, or you can go
Yeah.
directly to support.airplane.com. You've got a whole bunch of training resources, tutorials, and you can create a ticket if you want to reach a product specialist.
All right. Well, fantastic. Well, certainly appreciate the overview and the conversation. Best way to find you guys, start at the website. Again, it's www.erplain.com. We'll drop that down in the chat, or not the chat, but on superimpose it over, whatever the right term is. We'll add it to the bottom here. And if there's any other questions that you have, again, just reach out to Arnaud and his team. And it sounds like they would be happy to have a good discussion with you and identify good customer and ones that aren't a good fit. And because it's probably nothing worse for an accounting pro than to bring on a product that's just the wrong product for their customer, right? And that's not good for you. It's not good for them. It's not good for the customer. So,
Completely agree, and
yeah,
and that's why our team, we're not pushy sales at all. We just want to understand the needs, and if we can offer a solution, then we'll say it. If we can't, then we'll definitely mention that as well.
well, that sounds great. And my last question for you, have you and Murph talked on our side? Murph's
Do I
our
have what? Sorry.
primary. Have you and Murph is our really our primary technical editor. Have you guys been in contact?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. I need to make sure that happens. And then we also have do you know if you've submitted like Advisor Alliance? It's
Not
basically
yet.
okay. We'll get that
So
to you
we're
as well.
we're working with Amy as well in your team, but
Okay. Yeah. So Advisor Alliance is basically where you just tell us about your partner program. And
okay.
then and it's just allows you again just to kind of detail that out for the audience. So all right. Well, very good. Arnaud, thank you so much. Hope you have a great weekend. It is Friday. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we will talk to you very soon.
Thanks, Gary. I enjoyed the
Thank you.
chat. Take
Thanks.
care.
Bye bye.